My dearest sports, yesterday I woke up and it was like any other day. I rolled out of bed at the crack of noon, brushed my teeth, made lunch, crushed 3 episodes of Law and Order, and wrote some jokes. A pretty good Thursday by any standard. Yet, as I watched the sun set, I was filled with a feeling of emptiness, for there was something missing, something of the utmost importance. You. Yesterday was supposed to be a special one. Opening day of Major League Baseball's 2020 season. Tomorrow would have been games 71 and 79 for the Raptors and Leafs, respectively. Both teams destined for the playoffs. However, no uniforms were donned, no seats were filled, and no balls were tossed, shot, or slapped. That's why I'm penning this letter to you today. To say, I'm sorry. I shouted, I mocked, I illegally streamed. I took you for granted. I took, and I took, and I took, and you asked for nothing in return. I'm sorry that it took a global pandemic to make me realize just how much you meant to me. I'm sorry for treating athletes like employees instead of family. I'm sorry I wasn't there for a single Taco Tuesday. Truly, truly sorry. I understand that your absence is not a punishment, but a necessity. I understand that sometimes sacrifices must be made. A wise young Vulcan once said, "The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few." I happen to agree. I'm not asking you to come back today, next week, or even next month. I'm saying when you do come back, when you are ready, I'll be there. For all of it. Every rouge, every yellow card, every fogo, every fartlek. Though the times ahead are uncertain, one thing is not. That is my renewed dedication to you, sports. For I know now that sports is so much more than spoiled boys chasing a ball. It's a stage, it's fodder, it's an icebreaker, it's a bonding agent, it's a teacher, a friend, a moderator, an equalizer. It's the soundtrack of my life. The next time a PA guy asks me to stand and sing along to take me out to the ball game, I won't sneer and scoff because I know how it feels to not be asked at all. I will stand and I will sing like no one is watching because I love you, sports. I love you like Mike Ditka loves shouting. Until we meet again, chatting practice.
Well, Mike Ditka's in the building, but we're going to have to take over unless he gets here very quickly. Yeah, I know. Believe me, folks, we booed too. Okay, you ready? Here he comes. Hold on. Hold on. This is a dramatic pause. And as we speak, Mike Ditka has made it. And boy, am I happy as all of you. Mr. Ditka, please.
A 1, and a 2, and a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. All these happy nuts like Grandeur Jackson. I don't care if I ever get back. I will root up for the whole team. If they don't win, it's a shame. 1, 2, 3 strikes are out at the old ball game.
Counting practice. Counting practice.
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Mountain my heart.
And we let them off the hook.
Counting practice.
And we let them off the hook.
Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe my eyes. We've just witnessed.
They are who we thought they were.
Damn you and your chatting practice to hell for the rest of recorded time.
That time in sports.
So, hello, this
This is Graham Kay, and I'm going to tell you a story about my very first and only hockey fight. Now, I got sent to a boot camp hockey school in Saskatchewan for my last 2 years of high school. And in my last year, I was supposed to be in grade 13 in Ontario. I'm that old. But I was in Saskatchewan, so I was a year older than everybody else in my grade, and I had to play Junior C. Junior A was there was no Junior B, and Junior A was just too hard. I couldn't make the team. So I played Junior C, and they called it Jungle C in Saskatchewan. Basically, it was just for adults to legally fight each other. Just farmers are angry people, and they like to hit each other in the face. And we would travel town to town after school in a school bus and get beat up by various towns each night. I was a goalie, and this one particular evening we were playing a native reservation called Meat Wagon. That's right, Meat Wagon. And the native boys did not like white people. Probably still don't, and they especially did not like they thought it was a private school. It was more of a boot camp, but they thought we were rich private school boys. Our team was called Notre Dame. We were not anything like the Fighting Irish. We were called the Hounds, actually. Anyway, we arrived in Meat Wagon, and we had 3 Japanese players on our team, and they didn't speak very much English, and they played on the same line. And they were very small. They were great skaters, but very small. And native people are very, very big, especially in Saskatchewan. I did not know that, but they're very big. And they just all of a sudden started beating up this line of Japanese kids. You know, it didn't make sense to me. They look all very similar. Why? I mean, they're not. Why? I don't know. But I guess they thought they were rich private school boys, and they just started beating the piss out of them in my corner. I was the goalie, and I'm 6'4". I'm at the time I was probably 220 pounds, and I was sitting in my crease, and I looked at my bench. I was the biggest guy on my team on the ice. And I looked at my bench. To my right, my teammates were getting beat up. I look at my bench, and my coach just goes, "Yeah, I guess you gotta go over there and defend them." And it's just like goalies aren't. If a goalie fights, the other goalie has to come because the numbers are uneven. But this did not happen. The other goalie did not feel like it was an uneven fight. He watched me go there and then grab on to a very big man, a professional fighting person. And I probably hadn't been in any sort of a fight at this time in like 5 years. And now I'm just in my first hockey fight, just getting thrown around. There's equipment everywhere. And I think my blocker ended up over the glass. I remember my helmet was very far away when I looked up at the end, very far away from where I started. And I survived. And I think I may have saved a couple of the Japanese kids' lives. One of them did die. He is dead. But I am a hero. So that's my story of fighting the kids at Meat Wagon.
That time sports.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Do you have trouble sleeping at night? Then I want to tell you about my favorite mattress company, Coma Mattresses, for those who have trouble sleeping. Like when you've got an important meeting in the morning, or you're excited about a big trip, or you can't stop thinking about the body laying lifeless in front of you. These mattresses help you forget all that, giving you the best sleep of your life, even if you haven't slept since that fateful night. That one terrible mistake you can never take back. But when you're in a Coma mattress, all that goes away. You'll get a nice, sound sleep, instead of lying awake, wondering where the rage came from, how your hands ended up around his neck, why it felt so good. Yes, no matter what's keeping you awake, Coma mattresses are for you. They don't care what you've done or where you dumped the weapon. All they care about is a good night's sleep. And every Coma mattress uses memory foam that remembers your specific body. Like you remember the last moments of his life. As his breath finally stopped. Never again will you underestimate me, Father. Yes, our patented Coma technology ensures that you'll be dead to the world the moment your head hits the pillow. You'll sleep so well, it'll take a SWAT team surrounding your house and beating down your door to wake you up. So no matter what demons you're running from, and you can never stop running. Coma mattresses are here for you. Coma mattresses. Put yourself in a coma. I was watching, they're doing virtual NASCAR on Fox right now.
Okay, what does that
I
mean?
thought it was like a video game tournament at first, and then I realized the people in the rigs, I guess they call them, are actual NASCAR drivers. It's all like high-end like video simulation, but the drivers themselves are competing as if they were in their cars. It's quite impressive, I have to say. Well, look at that old Dale Earnhardt Jr. just worked his way to the top. But yeah, it looked incredible. And literally, it's the closest thing to sports on right now. So I was like, yeah, what the hell?
Cool. Well, we've already started this conversation mid conversation, but Brian, it's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah.
How are things? I guess you're almost done your 2-week isolation as of tomorrow.
Well, I mean, I don't know when this started. I think I'll say Tuesday because I got back Monday night. So Tuesday morning I'll be done. Yeah. I guess that's splitting hairs. So, but to answer your first question, I was just telling you how much I'm enjoying a VR version of actual NASCAR racing, and kind of in love with this yellow Hellman's mayonnaise car right now. So, needless to say, things aren't going well. I've sunk into all new lows. I just said I'm enjoying NASCAR, and I meant it.
A couple days ago, I basically rewatched the entire Game 5 against the Rangers, the bat flip game with the 800-hour seventh inning. And
that's funny, yeah. When you mentioned that, I literally just hours before watched that one specific inning. It's on YouTube. It's about 30 minutes long.
I think it's 50 minutes long. They were saying, at least in the broadcast, but maybe that was with commercials.
Yeah, they maybe
out.
cut some stuff out. Yeah. I was playing MLB The Show, or intending to, the other day, and I got distracted by something, so it naturally went into demo mode, and I caught myself watching about 4 innings of that before I realized I was supposed to be playing. But it looks so beautiful, and I miss the sound so much. Yeah, it's nuts. I did not realize how much I miss sports, what an active part of my life it was, until now, when it's been virtually entirely taken away from me, with the exception of a couple of UFC matches. I think they're still trying their best to keep going. And, we're not totally alone. I shouldn't leave out football. Football has at least been filling the sports pages with something other than what athlete has COVID-19 and what coach doesn't.
NFL draft still happening in late April, basically remotely. You in favor of this? You against it? You ambivalent? What do you have to say?
I mean, I'm certainly for it in that, again, it will fill some time. It has, honest repercussions on myself and the Bills. So I'm great. But, I mean, Goodell was sort of fixated on trying to get people together in the same room for the longest time. And that I was 100% against. I could not understand his willingness to try and pull this off. I think it would be fun to do a throwback to the old days where, there's somebody, with a camera, although I guess it'll be your mom holding the camera now.
Yeah.
But these kids used to get called. Like, we'd get a one shot of some team sitting around a table with a rotary phone. They'd literally call the guy up and be like, "You're playing for us next year. Pack your bags." Before all this hoopla and hype started. It'd be kind of fun to throw back to that.
Oh, totally. And I think too, by not having a camera crew, by it being like your mom's cell phone, could invite a little bit more chaos and sort of homemade aesthetic to the presentation, which I think could be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
if they steer into the chaos,
And yes, this is the kind of excitement we need right now. It's a good way to do this without, I think Goodell is fixated on the fact that, I won't be able to throw this huge party, but you can still have fun. It'll just have less bells and whistles. Like, a kitchen party is just as good as the club sometimes. Don't be afraid to party in the kitchen.
Oh, better than the club.
Oh, hell's yeah, in my opinion. Booze is cheaper. The women are
Yes.
sluttier. I'm kidding.
just in Brian's kitchen. Something
Yeah,
about something about Brian's kitchen.
Yeah, just to remind you, I live alone. And the kitchen is technically part of my bedroom.
So were the Texans absolutely indisputably fleeced in the trade where they gave away DeAndre Hopkins in a fourth to the Cardinals for David Johnson, a second and fourth?
I think there's something more at work there that I cannot explain because it does, in my opinion, unless they know something about David Johnson turning his career around and returning to the level that he once was at. I don't see. I mean, except for the fact that you eliminated a chunk of salary that you were inevitably going to have to resign. I don't see how the Texans win here at all.
Because I think Johnson comes with some money too.
Yeah, that's hard to say that they got value for the guy who's been the most effective receiver for the last 4 years. I mean, granted, he's on the wrong side of 30, but damn, man.
Hopkins is older than 30?
Isn't he not? You keep talking. I'm going to look this up right now.
Yeah, because, well, the thing is, I mean, I have a feeling that if you took aside, like, the rest of the NFL, 20 of the teams would say, we could have done better for Hopkins.
Oh, absolutely.
Bill O'Brien, who's kind of the de facto GM and coach at this point, is just kind of clearing the decks of anybody that he doesn't really like.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
can't get along with.
clearly they're on different pages, and GMs tend to do that, right? They fire the guy that was brought in before them and replace him with their own. DeAndre Hopkins is in fact 27, which makes that trade even more embarrassing. Embarrassing is the right term. It's a little embarrassing. I mean, I understand that you want to make it your own, the Texans, but I mean, you got to get value.
So you mentioned your Buffalo Bills. How do you feel so far about the offseason moves?
With I think we may have the best receiving core in the AFC right now with Stephon Diggs, John, and Measley Beasley there. I mean, that's pretty good. And with a young up and coming quarterback in Josh Allen, who's continued to take steps in the right direction in his career, I already saw a very interesting article about why he might be the smartest bet for MVP next year if you want to make some money. Yeah, that's the last few MVPs have been quarterbacks, and they've been long shots, or so they thought early in the season. Like nobody expected Patrick Mahomes to win when he won. I think Lamar Jackson, the same thing. Like he wasn't as rated as highly as possibly he should have been. Like people couldn't foresee his growth. So I'm very very happy with what they've done so far. We did spend a lot on Stephon Diggs, but he's a young man, and there's a pile up in the VR NASCAR.
Oh boy. Well, hey, I guess one of the advantages is no deaths.
Yeah, I certainly hope not.
Talking about the Bills, then, I mean, you could arguably say one of the most favorable offseason events that has happened in terms of being in the AFC East is the fact that Mr. Tom Brady is no longer with the Patriots. So here's my big question for you. Who will emerge better from the split, Tom Brady or Bill Belichick?
It's very interesting. It's a question I was going to pose to you in an almost identical way. Who will have the better record, the Pats or the Bucks next year? I think we're essentially asking the same question, even though we phrased it differently. I'm going to go with the Bucks, unless there's one caveat here. If the Patriots decide to pick up Cam Newton, then that changes everything. If they go forward with Brian Hoyer, I don't believe that they'll do as well as Tom Brady and the Bucks do. I think again, he's a very scary offense now. They got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and a good running back and a fairly decent line, and now with obviously the most experienced quarterback playing, that makes them deadly, and they already have a pretty good defense, like certainly top end. So that's trouble for them. The Patriots can't boast many of those things. Their offense is weak right now. Their best receiver is Julian Edelman, who's great, but they have nothing after that. All their skill positions are in the shitter right now. So I can't see them, even with the magic of Belichick and everything he's pulled off. I can't see them doing it with Brian Hoyer or possibly their 6th round draft pick. I can't remember the QB's name, but they do have somebody else back there.
Well, the thing I wonder about, like, see, this could be an opportunity for Belichick, who I figure should never be underestimated. This could be an opportunity where he pulls, say, like a Harbaugh with the Ravens, and it's like, okay, well, now we're going to create a whole totally different sort of offense that nobody's going to expect. Like, it's somebody like Cam Newton would be interesting in that respect, in terms of where he could land. But I don't know. I as much as I am cheering for the Patriots to be horrible. I think that would be wonderful. There's just something where it's like, I don't want to count Belichick out, where it's like, maybe he just, he's always been a defensive guru. Maybe he just pours more and more of the attention and the resources into the defense. And
Belichick, I mean, if you could actually harness that sort of pissed off, I deserve more attitude that sort of comes with Cam Newton and focus and energy, the way he did with Brady, turned him into like a friggin' razor blade, then that could be a problem. I mean, I hate to say this because I am a Bills fan. This is their first opportunity in 20 years to actually really do something, win the division, the first time in 13 years. If nothing happens in New England, I think we're the outright favorites for that division. But at the same time, yeah, I'm fascinated by the challenge put in front of Belichick right now. And if he could, like you say, surprise the world, shock the world, change up his game, shock the NFL for the millionth time and actually go somewhere with the team he has in front of him, then that would be something. I'd actually get on board with that.
It'll be interesting to see Brady airing it out with Bruce Arians, but does he really have the arm to have the, to do the deep ball?
How much air is in that arm?
The deep ball that Arian wants? Who knows? So
I have one question then for you. All of the quarterbacks who made moves there, then who do you think will do the best, and who do you think will do the worst? You got your Phil Rivers with Indianapolis, Tom Brady with the Colts, Cam Newton will inevitably go somewhere. Even Jameis Winston.
Okay. So worst, I'm going to say Jameis Winston, because I don't think he's going to be starting in 2020, and I think from his point of view, that is going to not be a favorable turnout. I think this is as much I just want to see it happen, but I'm going to say Phil Rivers in Indianapolis, because I really like that organization. They've got a hell of an offensive line, which he has not had, and don't know if I'm really putting my critical faculties behind this. More of a hope, but that's what I'd like to see have happen. Brady, I don't know what to think. I have no idea. I could see Tampa Bay going either way.
I think we're going to learn a lot about Tom Brady, because for 20 years we've only seen him in the same clothes, in the same uniform. He's never had to learn. I mean, every year is a little bit new. They're adding and taking away, but it's going to be a great challenge for him. So, yeah, I'm ready to watch him fail. I'm totally. I would much rather see Phil Rivers succeed in that he hasn't haunted my life for the last 20 years. And like you said, he's well coached. Good old Frank Reich, Buffalo Bill for years. Great man. If the Bills can't win, I'm happy to see my old Bills win. He was a great one. Author of that great playoff comeback. The reason we got called the Comeback Bills. That was old Frank Reich. Jim Kelly was down that day.
Well, Brian, we should chat again soon.
Yes, let's please. It's getting a little dark in here.
Any advice for anyone who has to go through self-isolation in the upcoming weeks or months?
Yes, have goals. Have a reason to get up in the morning. Don't submit too much to the free time. I find that's what's kept me going. Is that I plan for the next day. I have something to do, some reason to get out of the sweatpants, even if I'm not going anywhere. Like, get up, go to work.
I don't know when or even if most of you will get a chance to see a Toronto Blue Jays game this year. So far, Jays 2020 only consists of 18 spring training games, in which they amassed a very respectable 12-6 record. Before MLB was to indefinitely postpone further play, and rightfully so. I almost feel guilty that I was fortunate enough to attend 5 of those spring training games. Much credit goes out to Gordon Burke for suggesting, back in the fall of good old 2019, that we catch the very beginning of spring training. So I'd like to send out Chatting Practice's best wishes to Jays fans. No, make that baseball fans. Even Yankees fans everywhere. Wishes for good health and much isolational diligence. And while I can't hasten opening day 2020, let me at least leave you with the hopeful sounds of spring training.